Hey, so what is up guys, it's Pohdoh here. In this video I'm going to be talking about all the fire spells, and I'm going to be briefly going over all of them. So once again, this still is a beginner's guide. I'll have some nice little clips of what they exactly look like, and I'll be telling you like the basic idea of what their function is and how useful they actually are in PvP and in PvE. So anyways, we're going to be looking just at the fire spells right now, just because there's an abundance of ice spells, so I don't want to have this video be really long. So first of all, there's your most basic fire spell, and that's Fireball, and it works pretty simply. It's a 2.5 second cast. It does a pretty low amount of fire damage, and it does a burn damage that will activate after about 2 seconds. So keep in mind that if you continuously spam Fireball, you will not get the burn effect. That's something that not many mages actually know about. So one thing you have to know is that there is a 2.5 second cast, meaning that even though it is very weak when you start out the game, it gets stronger and stronger as you get more and more gear, because spell power will increase the damage of Fireball more than it increases the damage of your other spells. Anyways, for our next spell, there's going to be Shockwave. Shockwave is by far one of the most versatile and one of the most useful spells in both PvE and PvP. The thing that makes it so useful is a combination of a very low cast time, a very short cooldown, the fact that it refreshes cooldown every single time it crits, and finally the fact that it's AoE. And that's the defining factor of a mage, is their AoE, and the biggest reason why they have such strong AoE is because of this. Anyways, that Shockwave is pretty self-explanatory. As soon as you make a mage, you'll realize how useful Shockwave really is. So anyways, looking at the next spell, there's going to be Blaze Prison. Blaze Prison there's two different effects of Blaze Prison. You have to keep this in mind. There is a burn effect and there's a silence effect. The burn effect will last for 9 seconds, meaning that it will tick 3 times and it'll do damage every 3 seconds. But at the same time, it silences for only 6 seconds. And this is really important because even though the animation will continue for about 9 seconds, the silence effect will end a little earlier than that, about 3 seconds earlier. Also, another very important fire spell is Cyclone. Cyclone by itself is not very useful. It's an interrupt. It has a unique property in that the effect will change depending on what happens, depending on what kind of effect the target already has. For example, the target's already burning from Fireball or from Elemental Finishing, which is the next spell I'll talk about. Then they'll take a little bit of damage. The next spell is Elemental Finishing, and Elemental Finishing is just basically a bigger Fireball that looks a little different. And the thing that's cool about Elemental Finishing is that you can cast it on the move, but regardless, you should never really spend 4 seconds actually casting it. The only reason you'll ever cast it is if you have the Flaming Mind proc, or if you are trying to catch someone running away. So that being said, Elemental Finishing is a really cool looking spell, but I mean, it's for all practical purposes, you're only ever going to cast it when you have the Flaming Mind proc, or when you catch someone running away. So it's more useful in PvE than PvP in my opinion, but it still is a really cool spell that has some decent utility around it. The next spell is going to be Flamestorm. Flamestorm is going to be a stationary damage over time spell that deals actually a lot of damage if you actually count together all the ticks. But its most important effect is that anyone under Flamestorm will be taking 30% additional spell damage, which is a massive damage increase, and this is very important for fire mages in both PvE and PvP, because this is where a big chunk of the damage is going to be coming from. Probably this is their entire burst right here. Skyfire used to, but now a lot of it is just Flamestorm. So just keep that in mind. It's a very powerful spell, and the first thing you really want to do as a dungeon mage is to learn how to correctly utilize and rotate this. The final fire spell is going to be Skyfire, and Skyfire is a 15-second duration buff on yourself, which is a 1-minute cooldown, and what it does is that it increases the chance of all your spells to crit by 50%. And this is by far one of your most reliable DPS cooldowns, because it doesn't take a 3-second cast time like Flamestorm. It doesn't take 4 seconds. It doesn't rely on luck, more or less, like Elemental Finishing. You could just pop it and you could just keep spamming Fireball and Shockwave. It is very powerful, and it is one of the most potent fire mage spells in PvP and in PvE. So anyways, that's the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to be coming out with the ice spell video very shortly. And before that, I'll also be telling you guys having my first advanced video out about Lightning Shield, because Lightning Shield is a very strange spell. It is not a fire spell, and it's not an ice spell. It's something it's a very strange spell, and no other spell in the game is like it. So anyways, it's a Pohdoh here. Rate, comment, subscribe. If you want more videos like this, tell me guys if you have any other questions about mages or any other questions about Order and Chaos in general, and I'll answer it in my next video or as soon as possible. So anyways, it's a Pohdoh here. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.